afternoon, good evening, Alpha Traders. Here we are once again. You watched the last 2 days of the streams. I was trying to tell everybody what the higher time frames were looking like, what our alpha trading indicators were telling us, and it was telling us price was going to go down, right? Pretty much dropped about 5K today. We're going to have continuation. Yeah, we are. So where are we targeting? Where are the alpha traders targeting? Well, we're going to start on the weekly probability chart with our projections and our current candle levels. When we're talking about confluences, these are the type of confluences you're looking for. When I've got this Laplace projection from the 41K low, we just broke the mean. Right? That's the white dotted line right there. We are below it now. We just closed on the weekly. We just closed this daily candle below the mean. Where's the next target? There's a ton of confluence. The second standard deviation normal distribution, the 95.4% Laplace distribution, and the 68.3% Laplace distribution range of this projection below the mean here. This area right in here, this is the 68.3 Laplace distribution range. In my opinion, I don't think we're going to break it. We could we? Sure. 100%. I want to see how it reacts down here. So where is all this stacked? All three of those ranges, they are stacked right on top of each other within a few $100s. You've got the second standard deviation normal distribution at about 40,400. You've got the 95.4 Laplace distribution at 40,700. And that is 68.3 is right about at the Laplace, right? It's right in between them. It's probably at about 40.6. So all three of those levels are stacked right on top of each other. I'm looking for a nice bounce there. But we got to go back. We got to remember. Do we remember this candle right here? You see that little pink dot right there? That was the 95.4 Laplace distribution range at about 47.7. I was telling everybody, target that area. Not financial advice, but target that area. If you are a trader, what did Bitcoin do? It went through. Where did it go to? It went literally almost to the third standard deviation normal distribution. And if I'm correct on futures, it did go right to the third standard deviation. Spot didn't get down that far, right? Because of course you're going to get some cascading liquidations on the perpetual futures, and that's going to create a little more down action. So that being said, when I was targeting that area, we didn't have the 68.3 on this projection there. All these are stacked right on top of each other. I'm going to say it again. I'm looking for a nice bounce. Could this be the bottom? Be careful. Like I said, I want to see how it reacts here on the weekly. Now, in my opinion, this week, that's going to be the bottom just because of all this confluence. And when we're talking about the distribution, which is all that matters to us for targets, when you start to understand volatility, probability, and statistics training, you will realize real fast how powerful these levels are and how you can trade however you want. But if you're out there trading fib levels and exponential moving averages and things of that nature, good luck, man. Good luck. These hit to the dollar. When we're talking about an asset that's like above 40K, these things hit to the dollar most of the time, especially these projections. Look how this dump hit the 99.7, wicked right to the 99.7, pulled back up, found support on the 95.4, bounced off of it, started a new projection here at the 41K low, rejected 2 weeks in a row to the dollar off the 95.4 to the top side. Now that we have broke the mean, it's literally a no-brainer that Bitcoin is getting ready to come down and test this level. I talked about this in previous streams, and I've also been talking about for literally a month and a half that when we drop down into here, now the Bitcoin is literally stuck in the 68.3% range. It will not surprise me at all if we come down, test this 68.3 and bounce. Maybe we reject off the mean. Maybe we start closing daily candles back above it and we go to the top side of the 63. This is what I'm saying. Nothing is going to matter until we start closing daily candles below about 40.5, and to the top side around 55,000. That's when shit's going to get real interesting. And I'm telling you right now, if we break down below this high confluent area this week, this thing could flush out majorly. And I'm going to tell you about a little bit of the news that came out. I don't trade the news, but this is some news that does impact the markets. You can see how red the traditional markets are today. Maybe a lot of people don't know what's going on. And there are also some shit hit the fan in Kazakhstan, where 18% of the Bitcoin hash rate is now. Did you even know that? I had no clue. Bunch of Chinese miners fled there. The electricity's super cheap. They had like 6%. It spiked to 18 in like a very short amount of time. But anyway, let me shift this to the monthly. So if we break below, we start closing below, like let's even be safe and say 40K. We close some daily candles below 40K. Go up here on the monthly. Then I'm going to be looking at the first standard deviation on the monthly. That's a little close. And here's another reason why we could get a wick down to like 39.5. That's the 1SD. We are literally, where did this price action just go to yesterday? Within a couple $100, it tested the 68.3 Laplace distribution on the monthly to the downside. The first standard deviation normal distribution, 39.5. But I'm saying if we start closing dailies below this monthly here and that weekly below 40K, we're probably going to see a second standard deviation move. The second standard deviation normal distribution is at 32K. The 95.4 Laplace on the monthly is 30,323. Now, on a wick, that wick's going to be below this last low over here, this local low on the monthly chart. In my opinion, if this moves that hard, we are going to wick up so fucking fast and probably close the end of this month on a higher low. This monthly chart for Bitcoin is still very bullish in my opinion. But one thing that happened today, right? In the Fed meeting minutes, it was kind of leaked that the rate hikes are coming a lot faster. They're right around the corner. We're going to see the interest rates start to rise. Not good. That's why the traditional markets dumped. And then we got the double whammy for Bitcoin. Some shit's hitting the fan in Kazakhstan. And that's where 18% of the Bitcoin hash rate is. So, that's news you can kind of, I don't trade the news, but that's not good. It's not good at all. Especially the rate hike. That is not going to be good. Why? Well, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency's overall market cap is 2 trillion, man. It's not big at all. Right? Things like this are still going to affect Bitcoin. Because a lot of people are, well, YouTube Jimmy said that Bitcoin's sound money. Why the hell is it dumping? You think people would be like escaping and going into Bitcoin? Not when you got a $2 trillion market cap, it's too small. It's going to be affected by these things. But I'm telling you what, right now, when that will change is when Bitcoin overtakes gold's market cap, the 10 to 12 trillion. I don't even know exactly what it is. It's in the future. It's going to happen. But Bitcoin's going to have to find a low here on the monthly. And when it does, look, this monthly chart's bullish as hell. If you understand the volatility creates these candles, what is the volatility telling you right here? That's very bullish, right? And when it comes to patterns, I'm not going to speak of these dirty these dirty things, but you can see what I'm talking about, right? Volatility is creating this formation right here, and it's very bullish. All right, let's get back. Let's see here. So yeah, we break that 40K range. I'm looking for 30 to 32K. But in my heart of hearts, I truly don't think Bitcoin's going to break out of this 68.3 range. I moved down to 40K. Here's what possibly could happen. We start moving towards 40K. We're close. It's going to start scaring the shit out of people. There's a lot of over-leveraged people. If we start to get some long liquidations and we start getting a cascading event, we could get a wick to 32 easy. But I firmly believe if that happens, and I'll go back to the monthly, that sucker is going to wick right back up and we're going to close at a higher low and continue back to the top side. That's my prediction. That is Bilbo's prediction. There's a lot of people out there talking. Most people aren't looking at these levels. Most people, do you know how few people are even using a Laplace distribution projection in this market besides the high frequency trading firm algos, hedge funds, right? Guys that are trading options at a real high level that have been using the distribution for decades. Laplace just recently, guys, there's a lot of those people, they're still using the normal distribution. This is catching on. Laplace distribution and entropy, the big firms are catching on to it. They are definitely starting to use it. Why? Because what's the biggest thing we want to know in any market? Is it random or is it trending? That's all that matters. That's all that matters. And when you get a trending move and you're having volatility expansion, like we are on the 4-hour big time, the 12 hours expanding big time, and the 4-hour trend on the entropy has rolled up into the 12-hour. I'll show you here in a second. It's starting to trend. If that works up into the daily, 30, 32, 30 is a no-brainer. Probably going to happen. On the wick, I don't think Bitcoin's going to close down there. If it does, and we break this monthly structure with a lower low, either it is going to be a bear trap of all time, and they're going to really scare the shit out of people, and then you're going to see a move probably in maybe a week back up to 60 or something ridiculous from that area. It could get real ugly. I'm talking get real ugly. We're talking, hey man, 20K never got revisited. Let's go over here, show you what I'm talking about on the regular charts. Let's go up on the 4-hour. Now, first off, I was gone earlier today. I was talking to MJ. I was like, what a trade of all trades. You kidding me right now? Look, when you get an outlier on the variance on the 4-hour chart, if it's negatively correlated or positively correlated, put a fucking blindfold on and hit the red or the green button. Look at the distribution levels and take your profit. So if I were to see us start having an outlier on the 4-hour, I'm immediately over on my VRE. When did that outlier start? It started right about up here. When we rejected off this first standard deviation, that's when it started having an outlier. Now this would have scared you. You should have taken, I would have probably taken profit here when I saw this bounce out of this. But then look what happened. And when you're having an outlier on the 4-hour, that's telling you literally you're having a fat tail event. So I'm looking at the daily levels and I'm probably taking profit down around the Laplace 95.4 or the second standard deviation. They both got hit, right? Here was the 1 SD. You could have taken your profit there. But when you're seeing you're having a fat tail event's going to be a 2 SD or move or more. Did it happen? It sure did. Bitcoin wicked down, but look where it pulled up, right? Look where it pulled up to. It pulled up inside the second standard deviation on the daily. There was a 95.4% chance Bitcoin would close up inside that level. There was literally only a 4.6% chance Bitcoin would close below it. And so on this final move here, Bitcoin drops outside of the 99.7% Laplace distribution range. So not only did it drop outside the second standard deviation on the daily, it got outside this final dump, 99.7 Laplace. There was a 0.03% chance this price action was going to stay out here. It popped right out, closed up inside of it, just like we closed up inside the 95.4 Laplace. So now you got to ask yourself, where are these new levels? And when I'm talking about all that confluence, I'm kind of middling it right at about 40.5. What's down here at 40.5? Right? Close enough. Right at about the second standard deviation on today's daily. And the 95.4 Laplace is right at 41. So are we going to, what's going to happen? Just got to find out. Are we going to wick just like we did today? Are we going to break the 95.4 Laplace and then maybe on a wick get below the second standard deviation and pop out? This would make some sense. 40K is the daily. So this is the daily S2 down here. I would imagine, considering what I'm seeing on that weekly chart with those distribution levels, that 40.6 maybe on a wick. Well, maybe a wick down to 40.5, 40.3, maybe even down to this S2. This is a volatility range support level on price action. That's a tick under. That's actually the monthly 1 SD. Oh, influence 39,436. The third standard deviation on this daily candle is right on top of the first standard deviation on the monthly, within $1. There's some confluence right there. So if we get below this 95.4 Laplace on the daily, the second standard deviation, maybe we get a wick down to this 3SD, bounce off that monthly first standard deviation, bounce back up. Because remember, we're going to be outside. We're going to be outside of this 68.3. And this is a high time frame. There's a 68.3% chance Bitcoin is going to stay in this area. So that's what, like, when you're an alpha trader, it's all about probabilities. It's all about probabilities. What is the probability of this price action staying here, getting below here? This is what you got to be asking yourself, and you got to be going through these higher time frames and finding confluence. You got to be looking on the VRE, seeing where the new daily, right? Where are the new daily volatility support levels at? And as a matter of fact, where is the new? Yeah, I knew this was going to happen. So the new daily volatility range is right above the 68.3. Boy, oh boy, look how much this 68.3 range is starting to really tighten up. What's that tell you? We're going to get some volatility, man. We got some mad volatility still coming in. I'm looking at that 40.5 area. This isn't financial advice. This is what these charts are telling me. This is what our charts are telling me. Okay. And I always say that. Right. I'm not fucking like pulling out some crystal ball and rubbing it, right? I'm looking at our charts. It's telling me what's going on with the market. It's telling me about volatility. Go over here. So here's the 4-hour. Look, we started having an outlier. It turned positively correlated. This thing's getting ready to flush. When this thing tests the bottom side of this daily range, be prepared. Be prepared. We could be getting ready. I talked about this on the stream the other day. When you see the Z-score log returns come up and tap like a 99% confidence interval, be prepared. We're going to go down and test the other one. We tested, we exceeded the 99 here. What's it do? It goes right back up to the top, right, on this 4-hour. Now, we're talking about that low was right here. And here's what popped this last move up, because these are all lower lows. Look at the Z-score, higher lows. And then, boom, Z-score goes up, has an outlier. That would have been a good trade to the top side. So I firmly believe on this 4-hour, we're going to get down into this 99% confidence interval. But be careful. Look, the last time it happened was this low. And then we went sideways, had another leg down. Had a little pop, and then had that big 4-hour candle down again. Just created more bull div. I mean, that's a long way to go back on the 4-hour. For some bull divergence right on there. I'm looking more short term. There is no bull div hidden or otherwise building on anything. This move is not done, not even close. And when you see the 4-hour entropy trending to the downside, right? Big time in trend, right? The red top, the EPP is telling you that correlation is building to the downside. You go up onto the 12-hour. Uh-oh. That trend is leaking up into the 12-hour. What's the daily look like? Daily starting to trend to the downside. And now look at the daily Shannon entropy percentile. It's starting to expand, heading into negative correlation. But here's what you got to look at too, though. There's some bull div building on the returns oscillator on the daily, right? We could still, we could have a little relief here. The biggest problem is that we opened up the day below the daily range, and already on the lower time frames that we're creating hidden bear every time this thing's trying to pop up. This whole, yeah, 45. There we go. So you can see you've got a higher high on the returns oscillator, 3 points of it, hidden bear divergence, and right now on the 45, Shannon entropy percentile starting to expand, heading negative correlation. Bitcoin's in trouble. That could be the title of our video. Bitcoin is in trouble. 90-minute, building hidden bear. And here's the thing on the 90-minute. Shannon entropy is kind of expanded. Starting to head in a positive correlation. So on the 45-minute, you could see an expansion on the Shannon entropy negatively correlated and a contraction on the 90-minute heading into positive correlation, both of them telling you we're going down. I love you. Everybody knows I love the 90-minute. I'm going to be watching on these lower time frames to see if the entropy heads back down in the trend. Here's the thing, and it's always going to happen. When you shoot outside these standard error bands, you're usually going to pull up back inside pretty damn quick. But you can see they're dropping pretty damn fast. So even if this starts to go back into randomness a little bit, there's room for it to drop back into trend again. You see on the